Hello, спасибо. I'm Hyunwoo Cho, and this is Soyeon Lee. We are giving a talk about Cisco to Disco. Um, our presentation will present in the following order: intro and motivation, and brief description about Disco framework, which consisting of function tracer, debugger, fuzzer, and demonstration for end day was our first plan, but sorry, the last one, the demonstration about end day has some problem in demo, so some dead issue. So we prepared other tools demo, but those demo are not showing on today. I want to say sorry at first. First of all, let me introduce me and my colleague. We're from South Korea, and the CiscoPangPang team is working on project to analyze the Cisco iOS vulnerabilities. This project is currently underway and still has a long way to go. And you can see our names. This is my nickname. This is her nickname. This is other guy's name. Unfortunately, they don't have a nickname. Sorry. And yeah, Cisco to the Disco. First of all, Disco means destroy Cisco. And developing Cisco iOS Exploit Framework with 1 day. We'll present following analysis methodology using Disco Framework, which we developed. Framework, internal structure, and behavior, which a.k.a. Disco Framework. And second is cancelled. I'm sorry again. And Cisco iOS analysis methodology. First of all, why do we do this? Because there's no suitable analysis tool for Cisco iOS analysis. There are about almost 400,000 functions in Cisco iOS, the binary self, and it's hard to find and analyze them all. Also, there is a debugger built by Kaspersky Lab for Cisco iOS, which is poorly implemented and lack of features. So we created a custom debugger based on the original debugger for Cisco iOS analysis. Then the Fuzzer has been publishing on Black Hat 2011 by uploading iOS image based on Dynamics and fuzzing the image. However, as Dynamics support for the latest iOS image is no longer available, so it's hard to find the 0-day using Dynamics. Accordingly, we're presenting a method for fuzzing the actual equipment and show the demo. This may be helpful when analyzing or studying the vulnerability later. Detail will be discussed ASAP. And function tracer. Yeah, function tracer I think I insert the function tracer description in script, but there's no, so I try to introduce the function tracer itself. Function tracer is you have to trace the function in Cisco iOS for developing, for the instrumentate some function trace or coverage or something like that. We try to make our own method to implement the function tracing. Yeah, why do we make our own analyzing tools? There's other many good tools, but why? Wait, is it? Maybe. Because Cisco iOS analysis has well-known notorious for its difficulty. There are some reasons for this. First, it's a single monolithic operating system, so it's a very big alpha file. Second, because of the extensive diversity of images, there are too many differences between versions, which making Cisco iOS analysis difficult. Other Cisco iOS presentation, like presented by Artem Kondratenko or George Nosenko from Embedded, but there are great presentation. We will learn a lot about them, but their presentation focused on exploit only. So we present a default study of the 1-day analysis process using practical tools we made. We will now present our tools and show you how much easier Cisco iOS analysis can be. First, debugger. As I said, there is an original iOS-only MIPS debugger created by Artem Kondratenko, which is the Kaspersky Lab researcher. which is clearly had basic features such as memory read and write and disassemble using Keystone. I argue well about why we had to create new debugger, because basically this original debugger has developed in the form of sending and receiving data from GDB remote serial protocol. You can read, write memory and register via remote serial protocol, and also enables something other instruction like continue or other break, whatever. Yeah, but this is why we have to do this? Because it's poorly implemented, as I said before. So why this features our debugger has, and which original debugger also has some these features, but some of these are poorly implemented, as I said. So I try to introduce myself why we have to include this in our debugger. First of all, step over and step into. Of course, you guys already have used other debuggers like GDB, WinDB, or OLDB. Every debugger has a step into and step over. But this debugger has only GDB RSP to communicate with the Cisco IOS itself, so we have to implement every feature we want, and we need to analyze Cisco IOS. First of all, step over is, as you know, like a French or jump instruction. You have to trace the jump or French instruction for inside or outside, step over and step into. Step into is simple, just go inside, but step over have to call recursively inside the functions. Original debugger has, it said it has that kind of functions, but it's poorly implemented, so we have to make our own these features. And second, this is that continue in original debugger, yeah, that continue, but we need some advanced feature like you have to check what some Cisco IOS feature itself, or just continue or debug more precisely, or keep debugging or continuing. You can check the continuing message. And memory dump limit. There is a memory dump in GDB RSP, but there is a limit in ranks. It said max 200 bytes, but originally it's 199 bytes. So we tried to fix it ourselves, so it's unlimited now in our debugger. Yeah. And auto debug mode. Have you ever seen Cisco IOS before? It used GDB kernel or boot -VN option in run mode to enable the debugger feature. It said without GDB kernel, it's precisely or not. Debugger features, actually it's not auto, it's debugger feature, and Cisco our debugger sent the GDB kernel string to the Cisco IOS and auto-enable the debugging feature itself. And there's simple but important thing is there is a serial connection between Cisco IOS and the computer or host, whatever. When you enable the GDB kernel or when you enable the debugger feature in Cisco IOS, you have to disconnect the serial and you have to reconnect the serial to the Cisco IOS if you want more debugging. And Cisco to IDA, IDA to Cisco. Yeah, it's generic, but we usually using IDA to analyze Cisco IOS, and we have to know which address is correspond with the IDA. And there is something so-called ASLR in Cisco IOS, but it's not difficult to calculate. We can use our calculator or you can use our brain, but I don't want that, so we implement it in the debugger itself to auto-calculate. And print type value. You can think it's like a GDB. It's almost correspond with the GDB comment. Just we enabled we we implemented in our debugger. And is alive is another debugging feature in our debugger. We can check the Cisco IOS debugger is processes keep continuing, or it's enabled by its debugging feature is enabled, or is it dead, or is it alive? It's literally itself. Is it alive or dead? We can check it on our debugger. VM map is a virtual memory map. As you can see, it's just passing the show region command output from the Cisco IOS. It's simple, but it's very powerful if you keep continuing the research. Yeah, and save the breakpoint. It's a little bit simpler but powerful as always. You have to save the breakpoints for the debugger, because if you quit the debugger, how do you continuing the research on your Cisco IOS? You have to keep the breakpoint or base ASLR information or other blah blah coverage. We try to save all kinds of information for more analyze in the file. This is that .info file, but whatever. Yeah. Save the breakpoints and other valuable information. And this is a simple structure. We try to draw our debugger structure. Yeah, it's like a PC, but it's a router actually. It's a router. And first, router is on. It connects with the debugger, and debugger keep interact with the router itself, and they keep exchange their data with the GDB RSP, remote serial protocol, and it's stored in file and read it or whatever. And debugger also interacts with IDA. I mean, interact is a little bit misunderstood, but yeah, interact with IDA to keep the simultaneous data to keep the simultaneous data. This is simple result and our debugger. The left picture is Cisco itself, and right is IDA disassembler. We try to keep the simultaneous disassembling view in the Cisco IOS debugger and IDA disassembler. You can see this is auto-calculate in our debugger. Is successfully working. Yes, I hope you can see this is a little bit unseeable. Sorry. Yeah, auto-calculate and debugger. Okay. The next one is a function tracer. This will introduced by Sunny, my colleague.
Hi, I'm Suyali, and I introduce our function tracer. Unlike Cisco iOS XE operating on a Linux kernel, Cisco iOS is a single monolithic OS that operates on hardware. It makes it difficult to analyze with common tools like pintool, strace, and so on. Even if you try to use binary dipping tool to perform patch analysis with different versions of Cisco iOS, the nature of Cisco iOS with hundreds of thousands of functions makes it difficult to find where the patch is. To overcome this problem in analyzing Cisco iOS, we create a simple structured function tracer. At first, it starts with simple idea, but it turns out there was a problem with the idea. So we use different methods to implement function tracer. I want to explain step by step at the beginning. The first thing to do to implement the function tracer was to find the way to upload a patch iOS. If the image is checked before loading through digital signature validation, such as the 2911 router we have, then the patch Cisco iOS cannot be loaded into the system. However, after finding that there was some CVEs that could bypass the digital signings, we studied and analyzed about Romo, which examine the bypass the digital signings. But our attempt to bypass on C2911 router was failed. Anyway, no further research about digital signature was carried out at Hyphanesis making level, but I personally think there must be a way that I missed. Since then, the direction has been changed to dynamic patch through debug mode instead of static patch. I was thinking about what to do with tracing, and I came up with a flash idea and decided to use it. The idea was simple: extract the offset of the function's address to be tracing in IDA and obtain dynamic address of code area through serial communication, find function address of actual memory, and write breakpoint at those functions. Then it will stop at breakpoint when the function is executed, and the function tracer will continue to listening the serial communication and monitor if it is hit at breakpoint, and if it is confirmed, it will read the value of program counter register and print the value and continue to keep the process running. However, this method had many problems. Some of the functions did not take breakpoints. I don't know exactly why, but it was fixed manually by making blacklists through dynamic analysis. Recognize that the function tracer is hit breakpoint, reads, and output program counter rest value, and then continuing the process takes a relatively long time. This program is too fatal for some network operations that needed to be timed. The number of breakpoints is limited. A few thousand, such as demo video above, are fine, but nature of the Cisco IOS that consists with hundreds of thousands of functions require tracking more functions. The problem is that when we try to write more breakpoints, Cisco IOS does not work properly and debug mode write breakpoints at strange location. I really work hard on this, but I failed again. For this reason, the idea thrown into garbage. Later, instead of using debug mode functionality, the DBI method was adopted using the node padding area behind the text section. Although the offset of the function to be tracing with IDA is the same, the condition of tracing function has been increased. First, start with typical step prologue. Second, after creating space as prologue, next two instruction must be store word or load word, and the value must be stored in or read the stack. We try to not to effect original code flow. The original function's patch instruction must be restored after the instrumentation code has been executed. Therefore, these two conditions are structural limitation of my function tracer. The reason why the two instructions after prologue must be store word or load word is because, first of all, having such instruction right after step prologue means that they have taken over the arguments from the callers, so it is first tracing more than any function that is executed without any arguments. The pattern of the instruction to be restored are as follows. With this function set, the different values for each function are the size of text, the type of register, the offset on the stack, and whether the instruction is load word or store word. The structure of function tracer designed to recover patched instruction, which distinguish it different from each function. Yeah, it's a little dirty, I know anyway. And finding printf function is very easy. Show return comment and find string in the IDA. Stack size assigned to a function in stack follow is kept in the T5 register and used to allocate the stack space before returning to the original function after sending the function upstairs to zero. So how do we restore the remaining two patched instructions? As shown in the diagram, the set of offset in the form of list is read and restored through restore under restore load word and restore at store word functions. The function implements in code K. As you can see, this is simple switch and executed original code, and as you can see, this is a simple switch case. With this cool form of safety, we are able to restore instructions and implement DBI style functions without changing the original flow. Second is Fuzzer. Previous research has focused on local fuzzing on Cisco iOS image improved using Dynamics. However, Dynamics does not support the latest iOS images, so there is a limitation in fuzzing. Follow steps are how Cisco iOS Fuzzer works. First, multiple fuzzers start fuzzing. Fuzzers have their own database, which contains information about test case. The information creates a template for each protocol and stored based on it. If a crash occurs inside the Cisco router, the crash dump will be stored in two directories. The first is compact flash card, and second is an up to serial port. At this time, it is inefficient to read crash dump from compact flash card every time. For this reason, it works by reading the crash dump sent to the serial port and storing it in the database of Cisco iOS Monitor. If crash occurs in step 2, fuzzers will be disconnected and stop working as Cisco router is stopping and rebooting. The problem is this obviously a crash, but we don't know which fuzzer actually caused the crash. To solve this problem, Cisco iOS comments each fuzzer. Then the Cisco router outputs a crash dump through the serial ports and reboots. The Cisco iOS monitor resend commands to the fuzzer client that it manages. Fuzzer client then proceeds the testing by sending the most recently transmitted packet pattern sequentially. As a result of verifying the packet transmission of each fuzzer above, if the packet pattern of corresponding fuzzer client occurs in Cisco iOS router, crash save the packet information in the database Cisco iOS monitor. When step 5 is completed and Cisco router rebooted successfully, Cisco iOS monitor sends a resume command to our clients and starts fuzzing recursively. The overall structure of Debugger is accessed from the Python script to the serial ports, and if info file is not exist. It gathers various information like memory mapping information, letter base address, and so on. This is demo debugger. We can confirm the actual memory address matches in the address in the IDA. And when you look at the info file, you can see the memory mapping information base address and breakpoints are recorded. And this is continue command, and this is demo. Breakpoint and info file has various information. And I try to continue process. You can see the new prompt option. And second is function tracer demo. Function tracer write code cave and various functions. And function trace is working well. Zero print current function name. And last demo is Fuzzer. We will show you SNMP Fuzzers. When we execute the Fuzzer, it sends arbitrary SNMP packet on sheet. This is Fuzzer database. If crash occurs, When you see the database, you can see data sent by waiter. And thanks for listening our presentation. We are new in this study and we will run for Cisco IOS research.
Please applause for our speakers.
Thank you. Спасибо.